The shocking news story of today is Donald Trump getting sued for $250 million. That's a lot of
millions and millions and millions and millions.
It's a lot of money, but Trump says he's innocent.
I was of the impression she wanted to settle, but I had a problem because how do you pay something, even if it's a small amount of money, if you're not guilty?
Trump believes he did no wrong, but Letitia James filed a 222-page lawsuit against Daddy Trump, daughter Trump, and both of his sons this week, alleging he did a lot of wrong.
I am announcing that today we are filing a lawsuit against Donald Trump for violating the law as part of his efforts to generate profits for himself, his family, and his company.
Trump is no stranger to lawsuits, so what makes this one different? Letitia is the Attorney General of New York and has what appears to be ample evidence alleging multiple counts of fraud. The lawsuit includes mention of Donald Trump's net worth. And we also get a pretty clear view of how Trump runs his real estate business. Strap yourselves in because we're about to have a wild ride, and I'm going to have a fun time reading the comment section in about 4 hours. The lawsuit comes after 3 years of research, 65 witnesses, and review of millions of pages of documents produced by the defendants.
That was a very good job.
She did a great job at investigating Trump's businesses and began what I think is going to be a fascinating war in court. It doesn't appear like she wants to settle either. Attorney General Letitia James has rejected at least one settlement offer from former President Donald Trump, the New York Times reported Thursday. The nature of this lawsuit is basically Trump overinflated the value of his real estate properties, which also increased his net worth, on financial documents in order to receive better loans, better interest rates, and to acquire properties he maybe should not have been able to buy.
You saw the Letitia James presser.
Terrible.
The only terrible thing about this lawsuit is it's exposing something we kind of already know. The ultra-wealthy play by different rules than we all do, and Trump doesn't seem to be the only one breaking the rules to make money.
I actually thought that they would never bring a case, and she brought it.
Letitia alleges that the fraud led to a misrepresentation of Trump's net worth by billions of dollars. Net worth is one of the most useless numbers in the world, but it was interesting reading excerpts showing how much Trump cared about the exact number. In a 2015 article, Forbes wrote that all of the individuals who have appeared on its list of the 400 wealthiest Americans, not one has been more fixated with his or her net worth estimate on a year-in, year-out basis than Donald J. Trump.
The complaint demonstrates that Donald Trump falsely inflated his net worth by billions of dollars to unjustly enrich himself and to cheat the system, thereby cheating all of us.
A statement of financial condition is basically a balance sheet showing assets and liabilities. That phrase was used 97 times throughout the lawsuit and got a little repetitive, but it's the heart of this case as it's alleged Trump butchered his balance sheet over the past decade. This is 40 Wall Street in New York City, a Trump-owned building. The bank ordered appraisals listed the value at $200 million in August 2010 and $220 million in November 2012. Trump inflated the value in his statements to $524 million in 2011, $527 million in 2012, and $530 million in 2013.
They've demeaned me for years with this stuff, and now they find out I have very little debt, very, very little, a lot of cash. We have a great company, and we have among the best assets anywhere in the world.
There's no doubt that Trump owns some of the most valued real estate in the country, but what was interesting about his chat with Sean Hannity is that he never addressed the allegations directly. Trump owns a triplex apartment inside Trump Tower that is just under 11,000 square feet. In Trump's valuation, he listed it as having 30,000 square feet. In 2015, he valued the property at $327 million or $30,000 a square foot, even though the most expensive New York apartment at the time was sold for $100 million at a price per square foot of less than $10,000. The most recent sale as of 2015 in the Trump Tower was $16.5 million at a price of less than $4,500 per square foot. Using that comp, the value of his property would be around $50 million, a far cry from the $327 million he claimed.
They were demeaning me, constantly, these people.
We show that they violated several state criminal laws, including falsifying business records, issuing false financial statements, insurance fraud.
In the 2012 statement, rent-stabilized apartments at Trump Park Avenue were valued as if they were unrestricted, leading to a nearly $50 million valuation of those units, but an appraiser said they were only valued at $750,000.
Do you put in a caveat that actually says these are our valuations?
Yeah.
Because I don't know a lending institution, a bank, a financial institution that would lend money to anybody and just go by the borrower's estimation of valuation of a particular property.
He valued the Mar-a-Lago Club at $739 million based on the false premise that it was unrestricted property and could be developed and sold for residential use, even though Mr. Trump signed deeds donating his residential development rights. Valued at $739 million according to Trump's documents, but in reality the club generated annual revenues of less than $25 million and should have been valued at closer to $75 million.
We have a disclaimer, and we put together, my people put it together. I would look at it, and it looked fine, but it's not overly important. What's important is the property.
In February 2022, Trump's accounting firm Mazars withdrew from representing him based on the findings in the Attorney General's report.
We have a disclaimer right on the front, and it basically says, get your own people, you're at your own risk. This was done by management.
Last time I had to fill out financial statements for loans, I couldn't include a disclaimer that my numbers might be inflated to improve my loan qualifications.
We believe the conduct alleged in this action also violates federal criminal law, including issuing false statements to financial institutions and bank fraud. And we are referring those criminal violations that we've uncovered to the United States Attorney for the Southern District of New York and the Internal Revenue Service.
The lawsuit included a section alleging that Ivanka Trump leased an apartment inside Trump Park Avenue, with an option to purchase for $8.5 million. In his 2011 and 2012 financial statements, Trump valued the property at $20.82 million, and in 2013 he valued the property at $25 million. A year later, Ivanka had the option to purchase an additional larger penthouse unit for $14.264 million, while Trump listed the value at $45 million on his 2014 statement. In case you're wondering why this is so important, it's because Trump was utilizing these inflated values to secure loans for additional properties, but also receive much better interest rates because his inflated net worth signified he was a lower risk borrower.
It's a very big disclaimer. It's a very powerful disclaimer. It basically says to an institution, you're going to loan money, you have to go out and make sure that, you get your own appraisers, your own lawyers, everything.
Before we label Trump as the only villain in this story, I think some of the blame should also be thrown on the banks and insurance companies.
There is an ongoing investigation into Cushman & Wakefield. Lastly, with respect to Deutsche Bank, we're in conversations with Deutsche Bank.
I know that the real estate game is different at Trump's level than the level we all operate on, but reading the complaint provided a glimpse into the underwriting that happens with these large transactions.
So these are banks that have the best law firms in the world, the biggest and best and most powerful. They do their own work. They don't rely on us.
I was surprised to see the banks approve of loans based on the valuations set by Trump. It would be like a trendy nightclub only allowing men in who have a net worth of $100,000 or more. You owe $20,000 on your $30,000 car, but while waiting in line, you just happened to state that your little Toyota was worth $150,000. These were the numbers for the 40 Wall Street property where the budget projected for an NOI of $4.4 million, yet Trump used an NOI figure of $26.2 million. The stated NOI being nearly 6 times higher led to a valuation of the property of $524.7 million when it should have been significantly lower.
Don't rely on the statement that you're getting. And by the way, it goes on for like a page and a half. It's a very big disclaimer. It's a very powerful disclaimer.
For his 40 Wall Street property, Trump later changed his evaluation method of using a sales-based approach as opposed to cap rate-based, which led to him valuing the property around $800 million from a price per square foot of $684. The professional appraisers had the property valued at between $225 to $464 per square foot. In 2011, Trump initiated a relationship with bankers in private wealth management at Deutsche Bank as opposed to the commercial real estate division. The terms were better because he was able to use a personal guarantee based on his net worth to secure the loans. In May 2022, Trump owed around $340 million to Deutsche Bank. By personally guaranteeing the loans and providing evidence of his liquidity and net worth through his statements, Mr. Trump obtained for his company a significant improvement in the interest rates on the loans. Imagine next time you were shopping for a loan and they told you they'd drop the rate substantially if you could prove you had some collateral. Well, the books behind me are worth around $30,000, the clothes in my closet are worth around $50,000, and my iMac is worth conservatively about $150,000. Pursuant to the guarantee, Mr. Trump was required to maintain $50 million in unencumbered liquidity and a minimum net worth of $2.5 billion. Trump used the falsified financial documents to attain the loans, but they also served a second purpose. By inflating his net worth, he was able to fulfill the net worth obligations of the loan. If he didn't, the loans would become due.
What she said was a baseline of $250 million. She's not going lower than that because the extent of the theft is so great, I believe somewhere between $750 to $1 billion based upon all of the fraud.
When the sale of the Buffalo Bills NFL team was being shopped around in 2013, Trump included his 2013 statement of financial conditions with a reported net worth of approximately $5.1 billion. Mr. Trump sent a separate letter under his own signature using an even higher figure in an effort to win the bidding. I have a net worth in excess of $8 billion. They're also asking that Trump and the other defendants not operate any business in New York or have the ability to attain any loans for the next 5 years in New York. This was a 222-page lawsuit, so full of a lot more details than I can share in this video. It took me a few hours to read, but I found it very interesting, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.